So welcome to the top blade. This comes from the shoulder clod section off of the carcass. It is such a great cut because it is number 2 in tenderness as long as we remove this outside connective tissue on both sides. How about you take that off for us, will you, Herman? The key is to remove these little pieces of connective tissue because it really will change the variation in tenderness. This takes this cut from something you would have to braise or stew into a cut that we can put on a grill or use in some type of a dry heat cookery. It is very much kind of a diamond in the rough type of cut because it's just hidden in there in that shoulder clod section right under the underblade, waiting to be discovered. So we have to do both sides. There are 2 massive amounts of connective tissue, both located on either side of the cut. So you do have to have some kind of knife skills in order to make this work. You have to work at it to get to it, but when you get the end results, they will be wonderful.
Right now, what I'm going to do is once we have cleaned as much as necessary from this connective tissue, well, I'm just going to make a cut to show you there is a tendon right in between that has to be removed. You can see it right there. So what we do is we need to make this cut right through here, and it will be separating the piece into 2.
So all of the outside connective tissue has been removed. So now what we have to do is find that piece of connective tissue that runs right through the middle of it. We're basically going to fillet it out like a fish. The difference is that that piece of connective tissue isn't right in the middle. It's about 1/3 on one side and 2/3 deep on the other. But making sure that we don't get any of that tougher connective tissue in there. So we now have 2 pieces, and this is when we become a flat iron steak. We've gone from being a top blade muscle to the flat iron. And once that is all nicely cleaned, we're going to look at how much marbling and gorgeous specks of fat are naturally found in this piece of meat.
You can see this is really tough, so that's why it needs to be removed.
I think you could probably pull a tractor with that.
Absolutely.
So just eyeballing it, Chef needs to go through and really kind of look and see if there's any little bits and pieces that have been left in there, because if they're left in there, they're going to make it tough. And this is the second most tender muscle on the carcass, so we sure as heck don't want to have anything that would interfere with it being nice and tender. Look at the amount of marbling found naturally in this cut. So this is why it's so tender. There is more marbling inherently in this cut than any cut on the entire carcass. Honestly, the way the cut became most famous was being used as a flat iron salad, and they just did exactly what Chef is doing. They just would cut it, slice it, and put it on top of a salad.
Or a nice steak. You can tell the marbling is right there. In some places, what they're doing is they're putting it back together with some protein, and then they will get thick steaks. Put it together, get a nice thick steak.
If you can use a steak that doesn't look exactly in the shape of a filet mignon, lots of options, lots of possibilities, one cut.